inFAMOUS is my favorite game series, and its main character Cole is easily my favorite video game character of all time. The world, story, and characters were done well. Sucker Punch respected their story and players to not spoon-feed information, but kept it vague to allow discussion and interpretation for each player. Sadly, I'm not here to review the game as a whole, but on its main selling point: Karma. Also, spoilers for the inFAMOUS franchise. I would highly recommend you to go and play the games and come back to this video. But with that out of the way, let's get started. What exactly is Karma in inFAMOUS? Karma in the inFAMOUS games is your ranking system for either being good or evil. In inFAMOUS 1 and 2, there are 6 ranks, 3 good and 3 evil respectively. For good, you have Guardian, Champion, and Hero, or Famous if you'd like. And for evil, you have Thug, Outlaw, and Infamous. With each alignment and subsequent ranks, you're given new upgrades for your abilities, whether more precision, less collateral damage, and instant restraint for good, or more chaining, destruction, and lethality if you're evil. Of course, that's not the only reason for these rankings, as your choices and alignment impact the world as well. What does Karma really mean in inFAMOUS? Now, disclaimer, this is the Karma of the inFAMOUS games as I understand them, specifically inFAMOUS 1 and 2. The Karma in inFAMOUS has always been its selling point, but was always contentious. I'll be doing my best to explain my view of it from game to game. Also, don't ask me about Second Son. I want to talk about that game. Maybe later. Now, the Karma in inFAMOUS 1 was handled the best by far, giving extensive choices which on the surface level for some were laughable thoughts on what constitutes good and evil, with which in theory was supposed to make players question their actions and their impact in the world. Most wrote this off as vague black and white binary choices, but when inspected further were actually more complex shades of grey. The general outlook of Cole's decisions, whether good or evil, are an onlooker's perspective on Cole's character, of course the public's reaction, his public reception. As the player, you hear Cole's internal monologue with a great slowdown, accompanied by flashy camera angles. You hear his thought process and his justification for his actions. Think of Cole's decisions instead as you receiving a piece of secondary news. If you hear about a tragedy such as a man shoots his wife or a woman shoots her husband, you'd immediately think, well, the husband had it coming, or the wife must have felt unloved. And that impacts your feelings towards the news, either negatively or positively with your own bias. But of course, when inspected further, the true story might have actually been, let's say the wife shoots husband for daring to whistleblow to the police for a scam. Or the husband shoots wife for constant abuse and betrayal, with I can imagine the headline saying, "Man can't take it anymore." Luckily, we're given the opportunity to get that primary source direct from Cole, as he explains his view on the matter at hand. Here's an example. You're chasing a target and you happen upon a man strung up to a streetlight, with a person raging on about them stealing from them, and he even argues to kill him. You're in a hurry to keep up with your target, so do you A, leave him be? After all, you're in a hurry and you don't know if he's innocent or not. Sure, you can leave him, but what if he didn't do anything wrong? In an apocalyptic scenario, don't we need to stay together above all else? Plus, you're in a hurry for something more important that'll benefit in the long run, but does that justify leaving someone to practically die when you have the power to help? Or B, do you rescue them, free them from their binds, giving them the benefit of the doubt, utilizing the power you possess to look out for everyone and try to be as objective as possible? Sure, saving him would be a kindness, but what if he did do it? What other things could he have done, either through spite or a need to survive? What other things might he do later? The public, of course, will react negatively or positively to your choice, but the decision isn't as cut and dry, even these small ones. How about one more? Alright, you're in a combat scenario against one of Alden's giant golem conduits, and it picks up a gas tank. What an idiot. But, hey, yo, hold up. Are those injured people under that thing? Oh, okay. Oh, shit. That thing looks angry. Hold on. Okay, I don't got anything. Cole?
Why can't anything be simple? Oh, crap. That damn thing is gonna throw the chopper's gas tank at me. And even if it doesn't score a direct hit, the explosion's still gonna mess me up. I could shoot the tank now, use it to blow off the golem's arm. That'd make my life easier. But the explosion will incinerate all of those injured people.
Now, granted, this decision seems a lot more simple, and yet it isn't. Of course, your reputation will take a hit with the public. But I have to ask, if you were put into a situation like this, would you make the right call and live with the consequences? Now, of course, if you did shoot the tank, yeah, people will think of you as an evil, selfish asshole. But from your combat perspective, it was the right call to help you win the fight. If you choose to take the hit, yeah, you'll save these people, maybe a sister or brother, but is it really a mercy? The situation for them hasn't changed. Their chance of death is still extremely high in this torn city. It's only increasing with your existence. It's not like you're not getting into street fights, kidnappings happening to get your attention, and shooting fucking lightning from your fingers, which, by the way, I hear tends to be conductive to metal and the human body. It's interesting. It's as if someone is orchestrating this whole thing. There's always been a wonder as to why inFAMOUS was so seemingly close-minded on its use of binary choices, with no middle choice, no third option. Now, as to why that is, it starts back with the main antagonist himself, Kessler, and his plan. Kessler's own inaction led to the destruction of his timeline, his wife, his kids, and his world. He had the power to truly help, but proceeded to do nothing but run and hide, leaving others to fend for themselves. He had the power, but only saw the responsibility to extend only towards his family and, most importantly, himself. With the destruction of his entire reason to live, Kessler used his new power to go on a one-way trip back in time. Convenient. In his quest to prepare his younger self, he stripped away any chance for escape from his problems by setting up the quarantine to trap Cole, so he would be forced to make decisions, and if he were to give in to their nature and try to run, he had contingencies in place just for that. In fact, Cole did try to flee Empire after his first major choice.
Ever been called a terrorist? All I remember from that day is going to work and then running for my life. That video, though. How'd I get that package? Why would I deliver a bomb? For who? Regardless, the consequences are everywhere. Whatever there'd been between Trish and me was gone. She didn't say a word, no emotion, nothing, just walked away. By then, people nearby were starting to recognize me. It was gonna get ugly. Even Zeke was giving me weird looks. He and I made quick plans to meet up at Stampton Bridge. Try to get out of town. Just hope he shows. Because right now, I'm a little short on friends.
And with this, we can immediately see Cole's reaction. When a previous choice from his past is brought to the forefront, instead of tackling his problems head-on, he immediately flees, just like Kessler. This is what Kessler is trying to destroy, this cowardice and lack of responsibility of his actions. With trapping Cole in Empire, Cole has no choice but to live with his choices, and we see how it changes him and molds him to either being a ruthless, selfish despot of a monster, but a monster capable of taking on any foe that threatens him, an infamous being, or a selfless, stoic, but strong person who takes on the responsibility and is capable of making decisions, all for the common good, a true hero. Of course, Cole didn't truly learn to stand and fight until fighting David Warner, but that's a story for another time. I hope I was able to explain my understanding of the karma of inFAMOUS 1. To better define Cole and Kessler, I'll use different forms of a very famous quote from a spectacular friend. With Kessler, with great power comes great responsibility and great opportunity. And the only way to live up to all that responsibility
is to use every opportunity to get all the power. I learned that the day I lost everyone I loved and didn't have the power to stop it.
With great power comes great responsibility. And with that great power, it shouldn't be a choice to use that power, but a necessity to. You have to use it to help those in need and be brave and strong enough to live with the consequences, whatever they may be.